What's up, YouTube? JP4WD here. This is our first official video this Monday, October 30th. We're super excited to be part of the four-wheel drive community here on YouTube. And I thought we'd jump in with some essential pieces of kit to have in your car. As a vice president of a local four-wheel drive club, one of the questions I see a lot is, hey, I got this new truck. What do I do first? What's the first mod that I should make? And hopefully, this video will lend a little bit of insight into what I think the first mods to your vehicle should be. Alright folks, let's jump right in. So to follow through on the question, what should I do to my truck first? A lot of folks are a little surprised when I tell them the first thing that I would do is learn how to drive it. If you get a brand new truck, it's pretty foreign to you typically. Hit up folks like Bill Burke or whoever the closest I4W DTA trainer is in your area. Hit them up, learn how to drive your vehicle. They're trained to teach you how to drive. Aside from that, there's a few essential pieces of kit that you should have in your truck. And why not make them the first things that you do to your truck? Alright, so we've got a few essential pieces of kit here. We got some gloves. We've got some reading that you might want to do. We've got a first aid kit, a spill kit, and a fire extinguisher. Some of these are obvious, like gloves. You get out, you need to change a tire or something like that. Helpful so you don't beat your hands up. Later on, when we discuss winching, any kind of recovery, these are, the first essential piece of kit. Yeah, we've got some books, basically on first aid in the wilderness. My advice there is, read the books, understand what's in your kit and what those things do. Maybe even think about getting some training. Wilderness first aid courses are generally a weekend long, and you could end up saving somebody's life on the trail. I've got a pretty packed first aid kit. What you carry in your truck may not need to be this intense, but Travis at Outer Limit Supply, he's been making these kits for a long time. He's an EMT and a firefighter, an avid four-wheel driver, so he knows what needs to be in that kit, so it takes the guesswork out of it. Check those guys out. They're not giving me any money to do this. I just know Travis well, and I know that he puts a heck of a kit together, and they're very reasonably priced for what they include. This is a spill kit that I put together at home, and we'll go through what's in that. They make newer, cooler, higher tech spill kits, and maybe someday I'll have one of those in my truck. But we're going to talk about what's in the spill kit and how to use it. And then of course a fire extinguisher. You hope that you never ever have to use one of these on your truck. I have never deployed one in my truck before. I did roll up to a gas station not too long ago and had to put out a fire that was in a trash can next to the fuel pump. So I was glad I had this handy. Yeah, so let's start breaking it down. Alright, so breaking down my first aid kit. This is what I carry in my truck. This isn't necessarily what you need to carry in your truck. I wouldn't say this is an advanced medical kit, and I wouldn't say that this is an entry medical kit. I'd say it's somewhere in between. Now let me preface me going through this with one thing. I am in no means an authority on teaching you how to use any of this stuff. I've had some training. I'm a wilderness first responder, but I am no authority in training you on how to use this. My advice is to go find someone like Resat 911. That's who I took my training through. Steve's a great dude. Loves to teach this stuff. So yeah, I'm going to preface all of this with that. Decide what works for you and what level of training you need. Some good books to get started with to understand what's in your kit. This is the Knowles Wilderness First Responder book, and this is a wilderness medicine book. Both are great books. I've read both of them cover to cover a couple times. I like to kind of keep up on that stuff. But yeah, so at least if you read the books, they'll tell you what the stuff in your kit is used for, but I still recommend that you go get some training. Okay, now that that's over with, let's hop through here. We'll start from left to right. Right here we've got some triangular bandages. These have like an infinite number of uses. Either of those books will describe a lot of uses for these. They can be used for anything from making a bandana to making a sling, a shoulder sling, to improvising a tourniquet if you absolutely have to. Yeah, so triangular bandages I think should be in about every first aid kit. Let's see, next up, we've got a big, huge trauma bandage. In fact, the kit that I got from Travis comes with 2 of them. This is his older kit. His newer kits are way cool, come in a hard case. They come with even more stuff. Great value there. There's no way that you could put one of his kits together yourself for the money. Definitely highly recommend Outer Limit Supply. None of these guys give me money. They're just people that I know and have met and trust. So yeah, check them out. We've got some Instapaks, both a cold Instapak and a hot Instapak. Fairly obvious uses. Make sure that you don't touch their skin with these directly. You could burn them or freeze them. We've got a moldable SAM splint here. So this has got like a piece of metal down the center of it, wrapped in foam on either side, and it's used to, immobilize a joint. There's kind of some uses shown on it. Highly recommend you carry a SAM splint. Great piece of kit. Of course, we've got different sterile bandages, different styles, different sizes, some regular old Band-Aids, some gauze wrap. Got some tongue depressors. We've got some cohesive vet wrap. This is nice because it sticks to itself. Yeah, and then we've got a ace wrap, for sprains and the like. We've got some antiseptic, for minor cuts. Yeah. We've got a soft T tactical tourniquet. Be careful when you're choosing your tourniquets. There's a lot of folks out there trying to make money with non-proven tourniquets. There are 2 tourniquets right now that are pretty much held as the best, and that's the soft T and the cat tourniquet. But do your own research, find out what tourniquet you want to carry. Just make sure that it's got some data behind it. Let's see, we've got some personal protective equipment. We've got gloves, of course, and we've got a little pocket resuscitator or mouth guard for doing CPR. We've got a Mylar emergency blanket. These are really cheap. When you go to get one of these for your kit, or if you buy Travis's kit, go get an extra one, pull it out when it's windy and cold outside, and wrap it around yourself, and understand how amazing this little sheet of Mylar is. We've got some scissors, we've got some tweezers. Those are pretty obvious. Remember in the field that if you cut someone's clothes off, it's really tough to put them back on. Hopefully you're not cutting people's clothes off for any reason, but just remember, if you use these, whatever you're using them on is probably not going to be easily put back on. So, yeah. We've got some basic over-the-counter meds. So we've got some Instaglucose. This is to quickly respond to low blood sugar. We've got some electrotabs or electrolytes in tablet form. You mix these with water. You basically get, Gatorade, for severely dehydrated situations. You got some diphenhydramine or Benadryl, for allergies, itching, those sorts of things. We've got Diamode or loperamide for diarrhea. We've got some aspirin. We've got some acetaminophen, Tylenol, minor aches and pains and fever. And we've got some ibuprofen. It's pretty self-explanatory. Make sure that you understand the pros and the cons of all those, and also, be very careful whenever you're handing those out to someone. So that covers the meds. There's a couple things that I've augmented the kit with that I like to have in there. You may or may not need these items, and that is a blood pressure cuff, a stethoscope, and some contact solution. All right, so we've got another essential piece of kit here. This is a spill kit. This is my own spill kit that I made up. There are really nice ones out there that are already pre-made that you can purchase. There's more environmentally friendly ones, but this one has been sufficient for me. There are a few key things that you want to keep in mind, and we'll talk about that as we go through, but yeah, we'll just start from left to right again. So here we've got some absorbent media. This comes from the parts store in like a 50-pound bag. We obviously don't need that much on the trail, so I just divvy it out into my Ziplocs here. We also have some spare fluid storage, of course with lids. This has generally been sufficient for me. There are some other considerations that you might want to have a little bit more than this. Typically my truck has an empty jerry can on the back. We could always use that in a pinch. But yeah, carry some sort of extra storage with you. So put that in there. All right, next up is absorbent mat. These are nice for if something really bad happens and there's just drips coming from all over underneath the truck. You can lay these out, catch those drips. This is a big one. You want heavy-duty contractor bags if you're going to carry a trash bag. The flimsy ones don't work well because there's going to be probably tens of pounds of sand and dirt or mud in there. The other thing to keep in mind is that once you put oil-contaminated sand, dirt, mud, absorbent mat, or absorbent media into this bag, it's now hazardous material. You cannot dispose of that in the trash can. You need to find out whatever the local regulations are for disposing of this type of stuff and dispose of it properly. So that's a big consideration. There's some new environmentally friendly ones out there where they automatically decontaminate, which is pretty cool. Might look into getting one of those myself here pretty soon. We've got some brake parts cleaner. Like with the absorbent mat, if something catastrophic has happened and there's just oil or whatever covering a whole bunch of surfaces, I think it's best to just clean it up right there so that you're not driving down the trail dripping stuff as you go. So I keep a little brake parts cleaner, some paper towels, a rag for that. Of course, PPE, get some gloves, keep all that nasty grease and grime off your hands. And it won't end up on your steering wheel and shift knob and the whole inside of your truck when you're done. So that pretty much covers my kit. Like I said, it's not the fanciest, but it's done me well so far. And I hope that gets you off in the right direction. To wrap things up, get a first aid kit, know what's in it, know how to use it, even think about getting yourself some training. Get a spill kit, even if you don't expect to break anything on your truck, it's good to have it around in case someone you're with does break something and needs to clean up some fluids. Get yourself a DOT approved fire extinguisher and get yourself a nice heavy duty set of gloves. Thanks for watching our first video. That was really exciting for us to finally break into the YouTube four-wheel drive community. We've got a lot of really cool stuff coming up. We've got tips on driving. We've got tips on recovery coming up. Keep your eyes peeled. And again, take care and thanks everyone.